Hello, everyone, and welcome to another webisode of All Politics Are Local. I'm WSAV.com now reporter John Dowding. Every week, we take the time to break down some of those big headlines coming from Washington and Atlanta to help see and figure out how it impacts us right here in the Coastal Empire and Low Country. Today, we're joined by WSAV Washington correspondent Kelly Meyer. Hey, Kelly, how are you doing on this Monday morning?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me, as always.
Of course, thank you so much for joining us. Sadly, Archith won't be with us this week, but we will hear from him next week, so we just have even more time to discuss a lot of those big things that happened, kind of broke over the weekend in Washington, just catching up from last week. So before we begin, we want to just acknowledge that America lost one of its greatest civil rights icons. Representative John Lewis passed away over the weekend. He was diagnosed with, I believe it was pancreatic cancer earlier this year, and he passed away on Friday night. So, our thoughts and prayers are with him and his family at this time, and, tributes were just pouring in from the second it happened. I remember I saw the AP push alert, and then I went on Instagram and Facebook, and just everybody was just speaking about it. So Kelly, I know you're working to hear from some of our local legislators to get their reaction to it, but what have been some of the early things you're hearing from them about their tributes for him?
Yeah, like you said, it happened late Friday night, and the reaction from members of Congress was pouring in from late Friday night on into Saturday morning. So I was tweeting out some of that over the weekend, both Republicans and Democrats sharing their condolences. And as we move into now Monday, I'm going to be hearing from some of our Georgia delegation, but also just members across the country, because he really impacted so many. So I'm going to be sharing that later on this evening. We're also keeping an eye out for how his funeral will proceed. Just with everything going on with the pandemic, the Capitol building is closed right now to the public. And of course, normally lawmakers do that lie in state where you could be in the Capitol Rotunda. So how that's going to go forward in the midst of this pandemic, we're waiting to find out those details as well.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be something we'll have to keep an eye out for. This pandemic is just changing a lot of normal things that, would happen in a normal year. We saw 2 years ago when President George H.W. Bush, when he passed away and he was laid in state in the Capitol building, there was no worries about people having to wear a mask and worry about distancing and stuff like that. So yeah, we'll just stay tuned to your reporting this week, Kelly, as we learn more about that. But also this week, another big thing coming up is congressional leaders are coming back to Congress today. This week they're going to be working all throughout the week because I'm looking at my watch right now. So today's the 20th. So there's another full week or so before the August recess. And so they're trying to roll out another coronavirus relief package. So Kelly, we've been talking about this for weeks. We spoke about this for our COVID-19 special here at WSAV last week, but just, kind of refresh us and tell us the latest of what you're hearing. What are they hoping to do with this latest bill? And honestly, my biggest question is what's going to happen with the HEROES Act? Because that's for Democrats, that's their bill. That's their next coronavirus relief package. And Republican lawmakers are like, not so much. So where are we with the relief packages?
Exactly. And that's been sitting in the House for the past 2 months. Democrats already voted and acted on the HEROES Act, their coronavirus relief response. And Republicans weren't really for it because of the price tag that came along with it. So what you're looking at today, you're going to see some Republican lawmakers head over to the White House and begin discussions with the president. We're going to see members from the White House coming over to Capitol Hill to begin negotiations. Mark Meadows, the chief of staff. We're also going to see Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin there tomorrow. The Senate leaders have their lunch on Tuesday. We're hearing rumors that President Trump might also attend. So they're going to be working full steam ahead on their coronavirus response going into this week. The Republicans, we're hearing, might have their proposal by this week. They want to get that out there because, like you said, they're running out of time to get this done. We're nearing the end of July. We're nearing August recess. And of course, people need this relief.
So, I mean, we've just kind of seen, like you said, for the last 2 months, this debate over HEROES Act having too much allocations of funding in certain areas that Republicans don't want. We were also seeing over the weekend, too, that the White House was speaking out against giving more funding to the CDC for contact tracing and for testing and stuff like that. A lot of mixed messaging going on right now, Kelly. So what can you say that our lawmakers have been saying about it? I know you're going to speak to a few in literally just a few minutes after we get off, but what has been some of their responses over the last few weeks about all of this? What are their biggest concerns, the most important things they want to see in these relief packages?
Yeah, it's really setting up a battle here on Capitol Hill for this week and next, because Democrats, they want to see the unemployment insurance extended, the $600 check a week. That continues. We are going to see that deadline coming up at the end of July as well. They want to see state and local health. They want to see, of course, there's always more testing, more PPE. For Republicans, they want a lower price tag. They also want to make sure that companies, businesses have some protections, liability protections. They're also looking at another stimulus check, but whether that will go to as many people and if it'll be as much as you saw the first time around, and Democrats want to make sure it goes to more and has more, but it all just comes down to that price. So we did talk with Larry Kudlow, the White House economic advisor, about this last week. Take a listen to what he had to say.
I'm not going to be precise. We're looking at that and consulting with our Republican Senate colleagues to see how this is going to play out. I think there probably will be checks in the next CARES Act discussion, and I think they'll probably be targeted perhaps towards the lower income, again, the least among us, those who don't have a job to go back to. That's what it looks like right now.
And Kudlow, they're basically saying they are in talks, they're working with Republicans, which is exactly what we're going to see happening this week, but he wouldn't say how much that was going to be. He didn't want to get in front of the president on that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there is still a lot left up in the air as far as specifics. The general ideas are still kind of there and they're floating around. They're just trying to figure out the specific allocation. I think something important you brought up just discussing that was talking about the protections for employers. We saw in Virginia that they were the first state in the nation to roll out protections for employees. Because of this, having different workplace standards to keep employees safe and things like that. I would keep going, but it looks like we've run out of time as always. We're always talking about so many things, but thank you so much, Kelly, as always, for keeping us updated throughout the week and letting us know about some of the big things going on in Capitol Hill, especially during this time with the pandemic.
Thank you so much for having me.
As always, you can see Kelly's stories on our website. Just go to wsav.com/Washington. You can catch up with previous episodes of All Politics Are Local on our website right now. Just go to wsav.com/allpoliticsarelocal. Thank you so much again for watching. I'm John Dowding. We'll see you again next week on All Politics Are Local.